What's going on, everyone? It's Belladonna Joe, aka just call me Joe. Alright, so I'm just going to jump into it, y'all. Alright, so this goes back to, I remember the exact date and everything, August 10th, 2012. Alright, so at that time, I'm living with my boyfriend and my boyfriend Kiko and another guy named Papo and another guy that's, you know, in his like 60s. So we're just gonna call him C. So anyways, you know, they're all Puerto Rican, obviously. And, you know, I'm the only white girl. I'm the only girl that even lives there, so what am I talking about? Alright, so I live there. It's a trap house, y'all. And the reason why I'm talking about all this is because everybody was already charged. Nobody can get in trouble. There's no legality, like, you know, like the feds can come years later and charge you. This has already been charged. It's already been dealt with, done with. So there's no legality standards at this point that I can be charged with or anybody else can be charged with because it's all done with, thank God. So, alright, so I'm living with them and, you know, this is a drug house, y'all, so it's basically all day long, you know, selling, but this is also a house where we live, you know, but what's crazy is, you know, like, Papo sells and Kiko sells, and they live, you know, we all live together, but there's no competition. There was a lot of money to be made, you know, there wasn't anything like, but there was, you know, some jealousy where like Papo would be like, you know, you could just tell when someone's jealous of you, especially jealous of like your customers, because, you know, all of Kiko's customers were like more white boys basically that had jobs and just, I don't know, he just treated them with respect. So one day there was this guy named Josh, and I actually met him through this guy named Chico because he used to buy from Chico. So I, you know, got his number, and his wife's name was Billy. Yeah, that was really her name, Billy. And I was like, okay, so if y'all want some other stuff, you know, you can call, you know, me or Kiko, whatever. And I wasn't selling at the time. I'm just living there, you know. I'm the girlfriend of Kiko. So, you know, some days I would, you know, be like, okay, hey, I want to be the runner today so that, like, I can get some more shit, whatever. And then, like, Kiko's runner would be pissed because he's like, you know, he wants the drugs. He wants the stuff. But, you know, it's not like I wasn't getting it anyway, but I just wanted more. You know, when you're using, it's just never enough. You're always, like, trying to get more. So, oh God, my birthday is August 14th. So, this was August 12th. We live in Milwaukee. This white boy lives, I don't know, like an hour away. Nobody knows how to get there, you know, and they don't even really speak that much English. So, what the hell happens? The kid says he wants like 4 grams. So I say, oh, I'll go. I know where the freeway is. I'll just go. It's cool. Oh my God. And I sell him some Xanax too. So I bring the 4 grams to him. He gets in my car and I'm like, what are you doing? You're just trying to hide it from your wife? Because he took one out and probably shoved it up his ass or some shit. He looked at me weird because he was recording, you know. So whatever, I didn't think anything of it. Got on the freeway, got pulled over, got arrested, and didn't say anything. I was like, I just want my phone call. Well, I called my mom fast and was like, my car. And then they're like, no, you can't have your car. You can't have anyone pick it up because we're going to seize your car in a civil suit because it was used in a drug deal. Huh? 1 week before that, I just put that car in my name for my grandfather. Very upset. So then, you know, they give me that one call. They put me in the booking. It's a really small jail. So it's like they put you in this little, I don't know, it's not even, it's like, you know, like with chairs, and you have to like sit there until they like process you. So I'm using like the jail phone, and at that time I was so lucky because like an hour later Kiko was gonna change his phone number. Because you know how people, you know, they change their number all the time when they're selling. So thank God. I call him. I'm like, I'm in jail, so you got to get me out. And at that time, you know, this happened on a Friday. So the bond was like, I don't know, something crazy, like 10,000 cash, you know. We didn't have that kind of money. We didn't have that on hand, you know. What we did have, what he had, was a lot of drugs. So, you know, he calls his boss. His boss is in Florida. Go figure. He calls his boss. He finally gets a hold of him. He's like, Joanna's in jail. And his boss says, do what you gotta do to get her out. Basically meaning, go sell the drugs so you can bail her out. Well, this happened on a Friday, so I didn't get out until Tuesday at 1 in the morning. And by Monday or Tuesday morning, I had a bail reduction hearing, thank God. And they lowered it to $2,000 cash with a $10,000 signature bond. So basically that means, you know, you got to come up with a $2,000 cash, and then, you know, you have to sign your bond papers. And if you don't go to court, if you don't show up, whatever, then you're gonna owe $10,000, and they're gonna keep your $2,000, whatever. So let's rewind. I went, you know, in that holding thing, and they told me, okay, the commissioner put your bail at $10,000, and when they put it that high, they realized, like, okay, she's not gonna get out. So then they process you, put you in the jail uniform, put you into a pod. Well, there's one pod because this place is so small. And I remember this was real heroin days. This was not Fetty. This was 2012, mind you. So, you know, this happened. I don't even remember. Like, I don't remember the time. Maybe 11 in the morning, and I started to feel it. You know, I started to feel it. Like by 2 in the morning, I am throwing up so bad. I tried like tying a sock around my head, like getting it wet, tying it around my head, because, you know, when you're throwing up, that kind of helps the cold on your forehead. They tried, I don't know, the nurse, they gave me some Tylenol or ibuprofen, throw it up right away. I was throwing up probably like every hour. Let's see, I don't know. This one guard had the nerve to say to me, oh, you know this is not a hospital, right? I'm like, yeah, I know it's not a hospital, but what do you want me to do? Jump up and down? Because she came in there and she's like, okay, everybody, we're going to be remodeling this unit or whatever, so we're going to go hang out in the, I don't know, we're going to go hang out in the gym or something, I don't know. So how am I going to hang out in the gym if I'm like throwing up like that, like shaking? So they put me back in the main thing, the main booking area, and put me in a cell over there and left me there. Well, that night, so this is like Saturday. This is Sunday now. This is Sunday. You know, okay, so they put us back in the pod after they're done doing their work for the day, for the pod, whatever the hell it is. And then this lady in there, her name is like Carrie. And I will never forget her. Like, you know, in jail, there's always that lady that is like trying to be house mom. You know, like there's always that kind of lady. Well, okay, she was probably like, I don't know, in her 50s maybe. Her name was Kathy. I'm sorry, her name was Kathy. That was her name. Okay, so she was like in her 50s. She had like really short cut gray hair. And she was the kind of lady, no bullshit. She was like the kind of lady that would be like, oh, this is so interesting. Okay. I wonder what I could do. Like, she would like walk around in circles. I'm just gonna get my exercise for the day. And like, just wild, just out there. And I'm like, what are you in here for? Whatever, you know. And she's like, oh, I'm in here for like child neglect or some shit. I'm like, oh shit, okay, all right. But you know, when I was in there, it's always good to have a friend. Okay, so when you get booked, your money that you come in with goes on your books. So I had, I don't know, maybe like $60. I don't even remember. I don't know. Maybe like $60. So it was like, what, Monday? And I'm like, oh, can you just do the order for me? I can't do it. I was like, just get me this or this or this. And she filled it out. I'm like, get yourself some stuff too. And she's like, are you sure? Okay. So she ordered herself like a thing of coffee, and like that whole day she was like putting blankets over me, and she's like, everybody please be quiet, she's very sick. Like she's talking to the guards, like the CO was telling them, is there anything more we can do for her? She's so miserable. And like she really cared. She cared because I was taking care of her, like gonna buy her some coffee or whatever. Like, oh my God. But I will not ever forget when I got out of there. It was literally like 1 in the morning, and I, you know, like when you're in the pod, whatever, this was like you have your own cell, so I didn't have to share with anyone. It's just a slab of concrete. And you know, you can hear when the guard walks past, because you can hear the keys rattling, you know, like when they walk past, and you can kind of hear the walkie-talkie. I can hear so good, so I could hear the walkie-talkie of the guard. And at like 1 in the morning, the guard was like, or on the walkie-talkie, they said, Mandela, and I heard my name. I'm like, thank God. Yes, this is, oh my God, please, please. And I heard the keys rattling. She opened my door. Mandela, pack up. Oh my God. Oh my God. I got out of there so goddamn fast. It ended up being, you know, Kiko came, but he didn't come in with the money to bail me out. He sent in, like one of his customers, which turned out to be a good friend named Chris. When Chris came in and gave the $2,000, the like sheriff receptionist was like, I'm gonna check this money for drug residue. He's like, drug residue? What do you mean? It's cash. Like, what do you want? Whatever. So she checked it. Whatever. So, you know, I walk out. I give Chris a hug. I'm like, oh my God. And then I get in the car. Kiko has my Gatorade ready. I'm like, you got a bag? And he's like, let's get out of here first. Like, let's go. And then the kid that was driving, so it was Chris, Kiko, and then one of Chris's friends that had his license. And I was like, or that didn't have his license. He had the car. So I'm like asking the kid, like, hey, you got your license and everything? We're in the middle of nowhere. Like, they're gonna pull you over. He's like, no. I was like, what, do you have some stuff on you or some shit? Like, what's wrong? He's like, yeah. I'm like, oh my God, what's wrong? What's wrong? Like, you couldn't wait until we got back home so that, you know, you can get your shit and get fixed or whatever? Like, why would you bring some rigs on you? Why would you do that? So then, oh man, we pull over, I drive home, and you know, when you're so dope sick for like, I don't know, 3-4 days, and you get in the car and start driving at 1 in the morning, you're just like, what the fuck is going on? That's kind of like what's going on, you know? And it is just, man, by the grace of God, we got home.